as y'all know, there's some big news that's been circulating around the sports world and the entertainment world. What is it? It has to do with Shannon Sharpe, right? Shannon Sharpe over the weekend on Friday, attended a Lakers game between the Memphis Grizzlies. And during the halftime, he got into a verbal dispute, which, got really close to becoming a physical altercation on the court. We all saw the video. We all know exactly what happened after that. And initially when that story broke, we gave our views and opinions on it. And apparently a lot of people had a different position, which is fine. Everyone is entitled to their opinion, right? But one of the prevailing views out there was that Shannon Sharpe was in the wrong. He was in the wrong because of his age, and he didn't have the proper decorum as someone sitting someone sitting in front court. In the first row of a Laker game, you would want to conduct yourself much better. And also given the fact that he's a television personality working for Fox Sports. So a lot of people felt like, that was unbecoming behavior of him. Even some of his colleagues at Fox Sports who even covered it, for some former NFL players, even they came out in strong opposition to the behavior of Shannon Sharpe. Then today, while doing some research, I came across an article here from fadeawayworld.net, which basically is covering a statement that the NBA released amid this, this controversy surrounding Shannon Sharpe. So I just want to get into that quickly here. Starts off with the headline: NBA issues conduct advisory notice to courtside fans amid growing backlash. Over the past few years, we've seen a growing trend in the NBA. For some reason, fans who attend live have become emboldened to trash talk players and antagonize players directly from their seats. Last week, NFL Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe is the latest one to get mixed up in the courtside altercation with players. After talking some trash to Memphis Grizzlies and Crypto.com, Sharpe had to walk off the floor in what became a viral moment. He said to Dave McMenamin, "They don't want this smoke. They do all that talking and jockeying, and I ain't about that jockeying. It started with Dylan Brooks. I said he was too small to guard LeBron. He said F me. I said F you back. He started to come at me, and I said, you don't want these problems. And then Ja came out of nowhere talking. He definitely didn't want these problems. Then his dad came and obviously didn't want no problems. But I wanted anything they had. Don't let these fools fool you." In a pretty wild scene to witness, especially since Sharpe was later allowed to return to the game in the end. However, nothing became of it all, and both Sharpe and the Grizzlies have since moved on. The NBA, however, had to make sure to get the last word in. NBA sends strong message amid Shannon Sharpe controversy. During NBA games in all NBA arenas, every fan is required to comply with the NBA's fan code of conduct. This is particularly important for fans like you with seats in close proximity to the players on court. Fans who act inappropriately will not be tolerated and may be subject to ejection from the arena and or revocation of their tickets. We encourage you to enjoy the game and cheer for our players and team in a respectful way. So you heard what the NBA had to say there. I got a lot of thoughts about this situation here, especially after the NBA released this conduct policy here. I think the best way I think I should go about addressing this is by contrasting it with other situations that have occurred in the past. I want to look at the situation with LeBron James and that fan who I guess was said something very incendiary, and then LeBron had him tossed out of the game. That's incident number one. Another incident we can think of, we can just go a little bit further back. We can think of the situation with Charles Oakley and James Dolan at a Knicks game. And y'all know that was a major show. And apparently, Charles Oakley was thrown out of the arena because he was saying some things towards James Dolan. Apparently what we heard at the time was, he was telling them to sell the team or something to that effect. He was thrown out there. Obviously, we have the situation with Spike Lee. He was, he had the issue with him, who's been a long time season ticket holder for the New York Knicks. We've had, that situation there. And we've had so many others where, and of course, you've had some where you have fans and players interacting with one another. A very famous one is a very long time ago, but still very famous, was the one between Spike Lee and you see Spike Lee, you see him and Reggie Miller, you see him and Scottie Pippen, when Scottie Pippen told him to sit down and all that. So the reason I'm bringing this up is in the past, we've had incidents like this where fans go at players and players go at fans. It's nothing new in the NBA. My question is, why is this situation here different? Now, some people will say the reason it's different is because Shannon Sharpe was antagonizing them. Okay, antagonizing them by what? Saying that the guy said to him, F you, so he said F you back. That's antagonizing them. Or by saying that, what, you can't guard LeBron. Is that antagonizing them? Really? Is that antagonizing? Or maybe some guys are just a little bit too sensitive. How about that? How about that? Maybe some guys are a little bit too sensitive. Also, I've noticed something here that I want to address quickly before we close. I've noticed that there's like two parallels that are existing right now. What I've noticed is in this situation is that some guys that found a way to baby dudes have found a way to get into this situation here. What I'm understanding is that Shannon Sharpe was a 50-year-old man going after little kids. That's the way they're painting it. Like, he shouldn't be talking to these kids. These are not children. These are grown-ass men working in the NBA, salary earners. They're not children. Number one. Number two, you cannot tell me you're a child when you up and down trash talking all day long. And in the minute somebody talks trash to you, all of a sudden now you a baby. I'm not going for it. You cats are trying to find a way to baby these dudes. The Memphis Grizzlies talk a lot of trash. They're not kids. They're not kids. These are young men that are playing a sport, and they play with a lot of bravado and confidence and arrogance in some extents. And in that particular case, they got a little bit of their medicine. Now, let me tell you why this entire thing is an issue in my personal view. The reason this entire thing is an issue is because of this. I think the Memphis Grizzlies, if they're not careful, are going to try to turn themselves into the victim here. That Shannon Sharpe was talking to them, and all of a sudden he hurt their feelings. Let me tell you why. Had that been another fan, I've attended an NBA game before. Fans talk trash all day long. You can't curtail it. You can't control it. How are you going to control 20,000 people in the arena for saying something? Now, obviously, there are times when you cross the line, but this is something that's been happening since forever. There's certain things where you make racial comments and all of that. That's crossing the line. But talking trash is talking trash. That's a part of sports, and it happens in every sport. The reason this entire thing is an issue is this. Shannon Sharpe, had he been a nobody, they would not have paid him any mind. The reason they responded to Shannon Sharpe is because of this. Number one, Shannon Sharpe is a Hall of Fame football player that won 3 Super Bowls. Dylan Brooke called him a pedestrian. This the dude y'all feeling sorry for, these disrespectful people. You feeling so he called him a pedestrian and a blogger? He called him when I said it on the channel, some people agree with me. Then I even heard Kendrick Perkins went out there and said it. They call him, these are the dudes y'all feeling sorry for? These dudes? Nah, I don't feel sorry for them. The reason that this is an issue is because you had a situation where you had a high profile person saying that to them. Number one. Number two, because of the platform that Shannon Sharpe is on. Shannon Sharpe is on a very big show. So he has a platform. It's not just a guy that's, high profile, but that doesn't really have a voice out there. So he's high profile. He has a platform. And number three, he's a champion. He is a champion in his sport, and he's way more accomplished than all of those guys that were talking. And that's why it rubbed them the wrong way. If you believe that was the first time that those players heard trash talking on the court, then I got a bridge I got to sell to you. I'll make a lot of money off of you because we got a lot of gullible people in the room. Some people are feeling like, to me, I think it's a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking. I think a lot of people are acting sanctimonious. Oh, you're this and you're that. You should have handled this. You should have done that. I totally disagree. I think it's easy for everybody to sit there when they're sitting on their looking at a situation through a computer screen or a television screen and saying what they should have done and what you should have done and blah, 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 blah. Whatever. I'm not getting into all of that self-righteousness that a lot of people are doing. To me, I still don't see what Shannon Sharpe did wrong. Yeah, he got into a shouting match. So what? He didn't start a fight. Now, maybe some people say he went over the top. I can understand that. But listen, I'm not, if it had been another team, that's one thing. But this team, I'm not giving them the benefit of the doubt. And finally, to close with this, a lot of people have been saying, why didn't he have the same energy for Skip Bayless? What do you want me to do? What you want me to do? Run across the table and snatch Skip Bayless up by his shirt? Like, what you want me to do? You want him to fight a 70-year-old man? What are y'all talking about? This is the same people they're talking about. These are the same people that are saying he acted immaturely, but then were wondering why he didn't do something immature in the first place. This is human beings for you. In the one hand, they'll say he acted immaturely. He acted immaturely. And in the same hand, say, why don't you act that very same way, which they're calling immaturely, the same way with Skip. This is human beings for you. Catch you on the next show. Peace.